Damien Woody joining us now here on SportsCenter. So, Damien, Joe Burrow returns and leads the Bengals to a win. What did you see from number 9 in his first game since week 2?
Yeah, I saw a guy that was moving around pretty well. That was the one thing I was looking out for, considering his lower leg injury that held him out of 9 games. I thought he maneuvered in and outside the pocket. He was accurate with the football. He was decisive. He pretty much looked like the old Joe Burrow, which is kind of scary if we're thinking about the Cincinnati Bengals coming down the stretch.
Yeah, 261 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not a bad game for Joe Burrow. And he looked good doing it, hooking up with Jamar Chase right there. And you know what? The Ravens, let's talk about them. They snapped their 5-game winning streak. Some key mistakes offensively. Damien, how concerned are you with this type of game for Lamar and these Ravens after they had that win streak this game?
Yeah, I mean, listen, 5 turnovers. You're not going to win any game, turn the ball over 5 times. But anyone who's been watching the Ravens as of late, there's some concerning signs, particularly on the offensive side. You don't see Lamar Jackson running as well as he used to in the past. It looked like he's injured out there, playing with the injury, and this offense just not able to run the ball as we've once seen with the Baltimore Ravens. So, they're 6-6. They fall into second place behind the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got to figure this thing out, or Baltimore could be in a position where they're on the outside looking in come the end of the season.
Yeah, and they can't have 5 turnovers. Okay, more from Damien in a bit.
All right, let's talk about implications here. The Bengals win and snap a 4-game losing streak, their first win since October 16th against the Steelers. Cincinnati had lost 8 of their last 9 entering Thursday's game against the Ravens. And unsurprisingly, all of those losses came without Joe Burrow. The Bengals are now a perfect 3-0 with Burrow starting under center this season and just 1-8 with anybody else without the last name Burrow. It won't be easy, but the Bengals still have a slim chance. So you're saying there's a chance? I suppose so. They have their work cut out for them as they head to Buffalo next week, followed by a rematch against the Ravens. All right, Damien, let's play the so you're saying there's a chance Jim Carrey thing here. The Bengals are still alive in the AFC North. What are their realistic chances to save this season and make the playoffs now that Burrow is back?
Yeah, listen, tonight was a great night, but it's ever so slim. I mean, their margin for error is next to nothing. And here's the thing. Tonight, this defense got 5 turnovers. But look at the body of work this whole season when we talk about the Cincinnati Bengals defense. They're the worst defense in the National Football League. So we can't realistically count on the Cincinnati Bengals defense creating that many turnovers moving forward. They'll be able to score points, no doubt about it, with Joe Burrow and getting T. Higgins back and Jamar Chase and company. But this defense is still a real big issue for the Cincinnati Bengals.
So it's interesting. When you talk about that, the defense being an issue, maybe they don't have such a great chance to make the playoffs. But what kind of lift does it give a team for Joe Burrow to come back anyway and continue to perform and continue to play, even though it really looks like their playoff chances are slim?
No, it just speaks to the character of Joe Burrow. Think about it. You missed 9 games. Your team is sitting at, what is it, like 4-8 or whatever the record is. And the season is basically almost over. You're hanging on by a pulse, for the Cincinnati Bengals. But your guys still out there playing. There's some guys who could have easily would have folded up and said, you know what? This season is lost. I'm not playing. But Joe Burrow just showing like, look, man, I love playing this game. We're, getting paid to play a kid's game. And I'm sure his teammates respect him for doing that.